I walked into Impact City and the lights are low and you've got the little backlighting and all this cool stuff, and on the big screen and on the side TVs it said, "You are enough, you are not alone." And I looked at Chris and I said, "This is it, this is where we need to go." And that Sunday we went to church together. We started going regularly. Allison and Kat were still, great friends.
When I was in middle school, I struggled a lot with my mental health. It led to a suicide attempt, and Laura was with me through it all. I remember the day I came back home from the hospital, she had redone my room with my mom to give me a fresh start. And so she was always there. And when she decided to start going to church, she has her daughter, Allison, and we're best friends, and she didn't want to go alone in middle school. We don't want to be seen anywhere without friends and have somebody to talk to the whole time. And so she brought me.
"Okay, can Kat go? Can Kat go?" And I'm like, "Sure, absolutely, we'll pick her up." I
remember she called me that morning. She was like, "Hey, we're coming to get you. Get ready, you look pretty, we're gonna go." And yeah, that's how I got to church, is by Laura. So
we started picking Kat up, and then Kat would want to come even when I didn't have the girls. So we would swing by and get Kat, and the manager's like, "Well, if my kids are going, well, I need to go." So she started coming.
And I remember telling Kat, "Bye," one Sunday morning, and I was standing there at the door and I was thinking, where is she really going? What kind of church is she going to? And it was almost like I heard the Lord say, "Come find out." And I came in and I'm sitting over probably where Miss Sandy Lindley's sitting this Easter service. And I was home. I felt so at peace in my soul when they asked, "Do you want to follow Christ? Do you want to give your life to Christ?" And I heard God say, "Are you done doing it your way? Are you ready to do it my way?" And that was it. I raised my hand and I accepted Christ, and I was like, "All right, Lord, you got me. Now your big challenge is going to be Todd. So let's see how powerful you are," because I know they would take God to get him there. Easter Sunday, I came home from church, Mia and I, and Kat, and he said, "What time is church service start?" And I told him, and he's like, "Okay, I'll be ready to go next Sunday."
And then I was the last one of our household to go. And the week after Easter, I started going to Impact City.
Coming to Impact City was pretty unique in the fact that you felt really welcomed when you came there, and you wanted to be a part of the conversations and everything that was going on there.
I had my guard up, just from bad experiences from the past of being in church, and I knew a lot of people from church, different churches, that I didn't see a difference in the way they acted. So I really wasn't convinced necessarily, but I'd seen a difference in Laura, a noticeable difference that got my attention. And again, seeing the brokenness of her and transformation, it gave me hope, belief that Jesus could do that. If he could do that for her, possibly do it for me. And I think that started part of my journey. It was one of the things that really, I was hard to convince. I was hard-headed, and that was one of the things. And then seeing people's vulnerability in the church, seeing grown men, other men, that also were in the corporate world like myself, that they had put themselves out there and saw their vulnerability. And I started letting down my guard and letting Jesus in. And that started that transformation.
I started coming about, I think it was around three years ago. I made the decision to accept Christ as my Savior, my Lord, my Master. Got baptized. I know the things I've done in the past, but God's forgiven me for them. I had to forgive myself.
When Jesus came into my life, or since Jesus has come into my life, I've found that I am worthy in so many ways, of so many things, blessings. And looking back even on the tough seasons, I can see where he continued to bless me and pursue me, and things that don't really make sense looking back. I can see his hand even in those times of struggle.
When I started praying, he's always been there, but when I started praying and inviting him into my life and wanting to have a relationship with him when I was at my lowest, I feel like he's been with me through it all. So that relationship is super strong, and I know I can depend on him for anything. And it's just nicer knowing that I have always somebody there to be able to depend on.
As I've grown in my relationship with Christ, I feel like my confidence has gone up a lot more. Things I would have previously have done that I wouldn't have any confidence over, or would never have taken a risk. now I feel like I'm comfortable taking a risk with that stuff because I know God's with me.
Freedom is in the life in Jesus, not in ourselves. And we have to come to an end of ourselves. And that's ultimately when I started experiencing freedom, was when I came to the end of myself.
I used to sit in this place of pain all the time, from the scars from my childhood. And since knowing Christ, I know that I don't have to sit in that dark place full of shame and pain any longer.
Sunday morning feels like a family reunion to me every week. Every time I'm together with my brothers, it just feels like, man, I can't wait till the next time. So my family, we've been able to deal with issues that families have, but we've been able to deal with them in a Christian way. If we have disagreements, we forgive. Much easier. We understand. We lift each other up.
It's awesome to see that my family is getting closer to Christ, especially my brothers. When I was growing up, I didn't really have that relationship with Christ that they do now. They've gotten the opportunity to really get into like the lessons and the messages of God by going to Impact City.
The difference when we used to get together in a family outing, we'd have some happiness, but now we have a lot more joy.
It's shown in us, in the way we interact with each other, in the way we interact with other people.
Before this family and going to church, I didn't know where I was going. I had no real idea of the future and what it held, and I'm glad that I was able to get closer to them and be a part of Impact City.
I mean, just where we were and where we are now is just a total 180. Her making the decision to go to church, I'm not sure where we would have been now. So it's been remarkable. That's the only way to put it.
Our lives aren't perfect. You know, from Sunday to Saturday, they're not perfect. We struggle, we argue, we fight, you know. We wonder if we're making the right decisions. But knowing that we have a whole church family, it's just this amazing, I don't want to say safety net, but you just feel like this comfort surrounding you, like knowing that we're not perfect, but we're accepted, and that we just have this whole team just like working